Yep.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
That's my pass.
Hey, I'm Fingers.
Yo, it's Apache Smash.
Hey everyone, this is Days Ahead.
And I'm Nitroid. You're listening to the Kojima Frequency.
That's how I feel about this remake. I don't know you.
Yep. It finally happened. We got that trailer today at the PlayStation Showcase, and Snake Eater is officially getting remade, and we're getting what is it called? The Master Collection, which is a good collection to start with, I'd say. I mean, we got Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, and then VR missions and Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake. You know, it's a good sizable collection. Good place to start. They're calling it Volume 1. But you know, I'm in a good mood after seeing that. I know we're about to probably just tear it apart and stuff, but seeing Snake, I mean, you know, and the lead up to it and everything, that was I thought it looked fucking amazing. I was definitely happy to see him back.
You're gonna have to tell me right now how negative you want me to be.
I mean, go for it,
just
man.
where on the dial do you want me to be
counter,
right now?
I'll be here to counterbalance you. It'll be okay.
You mean edit? We're gonna lose an hour of this episode.
I mean, I'm ambivalent. Like, it's content for us. I mean, it gives us a little more staying power. I can never complain about that. And you know, Naked Snake looked great. He looked fucking better than his pachinko model, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was a preview. Like, I try not to judge games based off teaser trailers, even though there's so much context behind this one. And I feel, God, how do I say this? How do you become ambivalent without being an asshole about this? Like, I know I'm supposed to be hyped or I'm supposed to be angry, but I'm trying to adhere to my principle of, like, if it's just a teaser or a trailer with no gameplay footage, then even if you have this entire context of, you know, worrying about Metal Gear Solid being rehashed as a remake just to sell as a product to get on people's nostalgia, like, I still have to wait until we see more info. Like, my heart just wants me to stay cold for now. I'm sorry. I can't be negative or positive.
I didn't expect it, but I'm fucking hype.
We kind of expected it, you know, but, you know, there's always talks about remakes. If you were approached again to ever recast your role as Zero, do you think you'd be open to playing that role again, or?
Absolutely. And I mean, David told me last time I saw David, we did a stream release signing thing, and he said that there was plans to redo, and he said you'll probably be hearing from him. I said I wouldn't count on it.
Thanks, Jim.
No, I didn't expect to feel like I do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't expect to feel hype. I didn't expect to. I don't know. I didn't expect to be excited to find out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We got the port, so who cares, right? Anything else is just like, look.
On
let's
the
just
other
trust
end, the fucking collection is like, oh, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any person say anything negative about the collection except why isn't XYZ game included, you know, which that happens every time.
I know, Days, you were saying, you know, you're trying to figure out how to say this without sounding like an asshole. I don't care. I'm gonna sound like an asshole because I know well, the thing is, I know the Konami unfollows Nitroid clock is 1 minute to midnight, so I may as well just go all in at this point. Like, I've had nothing positive to say for a very long time, so go ahead, say what you were gonna say, because if once I start, I'm not gonna stop for a while.
Just go. Like,
Well, no, like, let's look at some of the positives of it. Like, Nitroid, say something nice about it.
this is getting weird now.
Yeah, this is a therapy
Well, all right,
session.
no, I was going to list off some positives for it, but I was giving you a chance to say something that you liked about it, but I don't give a shit.
No, I'm glad that they are porting the first three. You know, I'm glad that those games are getting ported to newer hardware, albeit it seems like it's going to be exclusive to the PS5, though it's still very early.
Right.
Well, we saw it said Steam and Xbox Series S and X
for the remake.
For the remake,
Yeah.
but I mean, why the
But
fuck wouldn't
not-
that be for?
But well, they're being dodgy with the Master Collection.
Yeah,
And they said to enjoy it on the latest platforms. So
That is true. That is
Yeah.
and
true.
it's
I'll give
already
'em-
on the Xbox. The
If
only
it
thing
comes
it's
to
not on is the
PC.
PS5, so it's got to be PC, right?
If it's on the PC, that's going to be really fantastic. It'll be interesting though, because these are the HD editions. There's a PlayStation Store listing for the Master Collection up already, and it lists exactly what it is. So it's basically MGS1 with VR missions. So that's likely not going to be integral. And MGS2 HD Collection version and MGS3 HD Collection version, which includes Metal Gear 1 and 2. So they're basically porting the HD Collection, and odds are that MGS1 will run in some kind of an emulator, or who knows. I suspect it's going to be similar to what they did with like Final Fantasy 7 through 9 on PS4. How they just sort of wrapped those in a container and made them run as is. And there are some screenshots on the website that sort of allude to that, but it's hard telling if those are just mock-ups or actual screenshots from the port or not that they're making.
I would
Not-
hope that they're screenshots from the actual port build.
Well-
because the date is like August or autumn 2023.
Yeah. So funny enough, I was talking to DRK about this before we got on, and we were looking at these to try and figure out if they were real or not. And I did some reverse image searching on the MGS1 screenshots, and there are very similar but different shots that Konami has used in the past. And it looks like they recreated those shots for these screenshots for MGS1, and then it's got like the background texture like they do with a lot of ported games, where they'll have that you can decorate the background or have black bars. It sort of looks like that, which makes me think that the MGS1 shots might actually be from whatever it is that they're going to be releasing. But then the shots for 2 and 3 just seem to be higher quality versions of screen grabs from promotional shots for the HD collection, which isn't surprising. So those probably aren't from what they're putting out. But then again, I mean, it's just the HD collection, so it technically is. I'm getting into the weeds here on stupid stuff, but here's the thing. There's this disclaimer at the bottom that has me a little concerned. It says, this collection includes the classic versions of the games, complete with minimal edits to copyrighted contents. Now, there is no way of knowing right now what that could be. And yeah, I typically assume the worst and, hope for the best, assume the worst. But that kind of has me a little concerned.
I mean, if it's just the footage and shit, like I get where you're coming
It's
from a
not
preservation
just the
standpoint,
footage,
but
though.
like
It's not
really,
just the footage
like
though.
I know
It's
I'm just-
important, man.
Like,
I'm
what if
just-
somebody re-released Lost Levels and they were like, oh, we don't need the cover art. Like, it's fine. We just need the music. The music is what matters. Like, how would you feel about that?
I mean, replace the cover art. It's a different release of it.
We had to replace one of your samples with another
had to
sample
replace-
because
yeah,
it was copyrighted.
It just.
I'm just saying for generic footage of like a rocket going off or something like that, like replace it with something.
It's
That's
not
not
about the content
generic-
itself. It's about the effort that's put behind the content. So when
yeah,
I
but
made
if
that,
it's
and now
$20,000 to renew that footage or whatever, like it's
I'm just
kind of
saying-
a thing that is just like,
Let me-
okay, go ahead and
Okay.
what you can do, like from a music standpoint, is go like, okay, don't buy that sample again. Let's recreate it using our own shit. And then if you can emulate pretty much what was going on, and it's a shot of some rocket going off, it's like, okay, cool, that's fine.
I think I totally get where you're coming from in terms of like the process element of it. And that kind of answers sort of my question as to, our concerns about if they're going to actually put effort. I think our concern is the level of effort that they want to put in to maintain sort of that vision or that intended vision of a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
That's part of it for me.
So with
And
a
that's
remake,
kind of-
I'm not going to require those original clips. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what like for me, I'm like, okay,
Sure,
cool, do whatever
remake,
you got to do
whatever,
for that
yeah.
in this new thing. But on the collection, you know, and if that doesn't have it as well, I don't know. Just for me, I'm not playing Metal Gear for like clips of JFK talking. You know, like I don't know. I just don't really care.
You're not playing Metal Gear for clips of JFK talking, but you are expecting a level of quality and experience that we want, and we're concerned about by omitting, you know, this effort to get these clips back.
Yeah, I'm just saying for me, I can understand like as a business choice for them going, that's too much for that. And like we're just gonna figure out another way around that. Like we'll edit in something else that's like, you know, applicable or you know, that's the whole thing. I get it. You're coming from the preservation purist standpoint of it, and I get and respect that. But just for me personally, I'm like, you know, I don't care if they switch it up on that part.
Okay. Apache, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think it's an indicator of their overall intentions of doing this in the first place. It's like if to me it says that they don't appreciate the art to begin with, and it makes me worried about how they're approaching remaking the game if they don't fully appreciate it in the first place. Because to me, I think if it's $20,000, that's how much it costs. Like if you want to port this piece, you have to do it as its whole thing. You can't now. Well, you can obviously you can make edits to it, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's coming from a good place if they're doing that.
That's actually probably the closest to where I'm landing on this because
Yeah, you're seeing it as a warning light for like for the whole rest of the project of them like cutting corners and stuff probably.
Partially.
Think of it as a
Yeah.
canary in the coal mine about how they're going
yeah.
to handle some of the technical gaps that will come with preserving this stuff.
I get it. I was just giving my personal take on the whole footage thing. Like this whole time, I've just been like, man, I don't care. Just fucking put a clip art version of it in. I don't, you know, like I just don't care.
This is hard to explain, and it might not really seem to be all that important, but it's important to me. But I have a very holistic view when it comes to art. You know, it's there is an interconnection between the disparate parts of any given work that together give it its identity. When you start to pick away at those pieces, you're picking away at the identity of the thing.
Sure.
And it just when this is a part of the identity of that game for me. I know those clips, those were very intentionally chosen videos to put in those spots. I mean that historical footage, I mean there are a lot of anecdotes around that about how much it cost and all that, and certainly that's come more to the forefront recently with you know the store delisting. But you know, to me that is part of what gives MGS3 its identity. As much as anything in the game, you know, as much as Way to Fall. What if they took Way to Fall out and put in a different song? They just, you know, use some variation of the MGS theme. That's going to pull away from the identity. What if they change a voice actor? What if they, you know, pull out a scene or remove an image, or like it's a, you know, death by 1,000 pinpricks, except this is a really big one to me.
Well, then by that definition, like the RE4 remake was just all kinds of fucked up, you know, like.
Well, that's the difference between a remake and a remaster. You know, when it comes to the remake, there's you know, putting aside my distaste for remakes for a moment, with a remake you can make the argument that we're changing things, we're doing things in a different way. This has a different identity. We're not trying to preserve the identity of something else. We're trying to give something a new identity.
We talked about that a bit. Like if this Metal Gear Solid 3, if its goal was not necessarily to just like sell Metal Gear Solid 3 as a remake, but to sell a new identity of Metal Gear Solid 3, which I highly doubt it is, but you know, that's a totally different conversation. And I think it would be a little more palatable. You'd be a little less allergic to it.
I think they're trying to be pretty faithful to this one, though. Like, I mean, from those screens that we saw so far, like
we'll get to those.
The graphics and stuff. Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't seem like they're trying to go out of their way to make this crazy different. It seems like they're trying to do, like, I don't know, just a good remake and modernize it.
I gotta make another point, and it's when you think about the originals, and I'm talking like Sons of Liberty, Snake Eater on the PlayStation 2, and then Subsistence, and all the things that they had. We already lost a lot when we moved
Yeah,
to
with
the
the HD
HD
collections,
collection.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
why, as we go forward, are we taking bits away and chipping away at it? Why are they not making an effort to bring all that stuff back? If you want to port these games for people to enjoy the classics as they were, then why is so much stuff missing?
I mean, it might just be more of a licensing issue than like monetary, you know? Because I mean, we know Konami's got money, but and like one thing when we talked with the guy from Digital Eclipse, it was like, you know, you kind of saw how much of a pain in the ass stuff was to get cleared sometimes, and I don't know, it might be something else. So
Let me tell you about a geezer who made a game called Super Smash Brothers
Ha!
and what he did when Ultimate came out. He said, I'm getting every single character we ever had in this game and bringing them all back.
Yeah.
I bet the fight to get the IPs for all of those characters it is way harder than bringing the apes back. Like, I bet it was way harder.
I get it. I mean, I know you're saying like just give the full effort
And let's talk about things that they do have access to. Metal Gear Online. Why has there never been an effort to bring Metal Gear Online back? Because I don't want them to do another port of Metal Gear Solid 2, and you get to the end, and the code is just going to come up, and it's going to say, go to Konami.com and put in your code to access the leaderboard, and the website's still going to be dead. Because it's just lazy. Like, that's things they do have control over.
You could even make an argument for Metal Gear Online not being worth the trouble because of the infrastructure costs. But look at something else, you know, like Guy Savage, right? Or
Yeah.
Evolution Skateboarding and the skateboarding demo. Those are things that they do have control over, that they do have ownership of, but it's clearly the cost incentive isn't there to put it in. You know, look, this is what it comes down to: is that
It's funny because I was just debating on if Guy Savage was like, do I really want to keep Guy Savage in this? And if so, am I going against my own principles that I've been arguing for the past 15 minutes? But sorry, continue.
my buddy, real quick, he was like, "How else am I gonna Smith grind the big shell? Like, what the fuck?" Like-
Right. I understand why Guy Savage and the skateboarding minigame are not in the HD collection. Like on a technical level, I understand why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's just underneath the hood running.
But it sort of gets to the underlying point here, which is that, you know, we look at this as, you know, for lack of a better word, as art, as something that we appreciate on a level beyond just a thing we bought to, you know, it's not just a service, it's not just a product, it is something that has meaning to us, right? Like, we appreciate it on that higher level. Konami does not. It is a product to them. Now, the benefit to Metal Gear and what has made this series stand out for so long is that the person in charge of it has been somebody who was able to balance the art and the business very well, and who definitely saw it at that higher level. It was a creative outlet. That is gone now. It is strictly another video game. The art angle is basically non-existent at this point. And so it's not going to be an effort to preserve things that were lost or to bring in old things. It's going to be what makes the most sense economically. You know, how do we it's a more heavily product oriented mindset now.
Sure.
That's just how it's going to be. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse.
I was about to say, I'm not surprised by that in the slightest, though. Like, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not saying I don't understand it, though I certainly begrudge it.
Yeah, it does suck, though. Yeah, sure.
You know, it's not something I'm even, you know, I'm not entirely unsympathetic to that position. I just don't prefer it. I'm gonna, you know, if the demand was there for these things to be done and they saw it as part of that cost incentive, they would do it. But the demand isn't there because I've already seen people online saying, well, it's just footage of some missiles and stuff. I'm not saying, I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
Fingers, and I don't mean to call you out. I really
No,
don't.
dude, that's
but
that's just my person, you know, like just for me, like
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, that's fine. If you have to replace that with something equivalent to it, I get it.
I'm already seeing concessions like that, and we've only just learned about it a couple hours ago, you know? It's like, well, it's only just this footage. Well, it's only just a weapon name. Well, it's only just a look of a weapon. Well, it's only just this. It's only just that. And it's just ticking away at the identity of that thing that we appreciate so much. Meanwhile,
As a whole, yeah.
the remake is coming in like a freight train, you know? Like,
Yeah, because everybody's got different reasons why they're here, you know? Like,
yeah.
some people are gun guys and they're like, yeah, if this doesn't have the exact, you know, iron sight on it, I'm going to lose my shit. Like, I get it. But, like, for me, I don't care. Call it a Wuzoo 5000. Like, you know.
I do care, though, because that, you know, we've talked about verisimilitude before, you know, about that sort of realism and authenticity that Metal Gear exudes. And that is what's being chipped away when you take away this stuff. It's part of what I love about the series, and it's just being stripped out.
Yeah, but like we've also just talked about that. We get it from like I'm just trying to really be devil's advocate this whole episode in case you know.
No, this was the episode that we knew was going to be coming when this got dropped. We knew this was going to be the conversation, so let's do it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to give you launch points to talk off of. I'm not trying to be like confrontational or anything to say no.
I'm not joking. Like I'm not a gun guy in the slightest. Never fired a gun. I'm from England. We got like muskets and stuff. We don't have guns. You know, I only know guns from video games.
Yeah.
You can't do a Metal Gear Solid. You can't do Metal Gear Solid 3 without the actual guns. They take up too much of the dialogue in the game. They're a huge part of its identity. You literally cannot do the game if they are not going to use the guns. Like, don't even bother remaking it.
All right, so if that comes down to it, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, like with the codex, you know, they go into the history of the guns and stuff, but...
Not just that, but like there's multiple conversations in cutscenes between characters where they talk, where the actual weapon in real life like informs the narrative.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
You literally can't. You just can't replace the names of the weapons.
Okay, let me give you an example, Fingers. I think we're getting stuck in the weeds here, but let me give you an idea of something that might make it make a little more sense. So, you know the conversations with Paramedic, how you call, you save, she talks to you about a movie, and you move on?
Yeah.
And they're just these really fun segments that really add to the flavor of the game and the personality of the characters, and that's how you sort of get to know these people, right?
Yeah.
So what if they got copyright? What if for copyright reasons, you know, they had to take out those conversations and make up a bunch of movies. You know, they couldn't use real movies, but they had to make them up.
Fine. Like, I don't know. Like, for me, that's whatever.
Okay, now I'm okay. I know we're not supposed to be confrontational anymore. But now I'm trying to understand what elements of MGS3, what requirements do you have that define MGS3 as a product? Because we have thrown like a bunch of shit and you're like, I don't need that. And I'm like, what?
I'm saying copyrighted material from the real world is
part of what makes Metal Gear what it is. It's that marriage between fantasy and reality.
And that's one of my requirements for Metal Gear, is to have sort of that. And I'm wondering if people aren't looking for that, then are we looking at the same game? Like,
no, I mean, it's just, I don't really like, so when the Phantom Pain came out and they came up with a bunch of fictional weapons, like, I didn't, you know, that's totally fine.
I hated that.
I hate it. Yeah, I was about to say, a lot of people were upset about that.
I hate it now. I think about how much I hate it all the time.
Okay, but that's what I'm just saying. Like, that doesn't bother me. I got a Woo pistol. You know, it's a tranquilizer thing. Woo. These are made up things. Like, it's fine for the made up PMC out in the middle of the ocean to be making up stuff with their R&D that no one else has ever heard of. Like, I don't know.
Did you not find it super jarring that Revolver Ocelot was going on about his gun for years in the games? Like, he was literally naming this specific, you know, single action army. It's the greatest handgun ever made. And then he just kind of stopped using it for a few years. Like, what was that about? Like, so
yeah, and he got those badass tornadoes. Yeah.
That was fucking dumb.
No, like, I get that. Like,
that gun has a history to it.
With stuff like that, with the Colt single action army, it's like, cool, get that one. But I'm just saying, like, when they moved away from it and just started using fictional guns, that didn't bother me. I was just like, cool, here's some new guns that I gotta learn now. Oh, that's basically a M4. Okay, I get it. It's like when Grand Theft Auto uses like pretty much the same car, you know, but like it's a different company name. It's like, oh, I get it, it's a Beamer. Like,
This is apples and oranges, man.
I have way higher expectations for MGS than I do with Grand Theft Auto in that regard, but
Yeah.
that's another topic.
I mean, but we're not even talking about the series moving away from real weapons. We're talking about, retroactively removing them, which is going to change the context of certain things in the game.
I don't think they're gonna remove the weapons, though. I think they'll keep the weapons in MGS3, like real talk. But the footage is the stuff that I'm just like, if it's just a random, thing of a missile going off or a silo opening up, I'm like, cool. If it's cheaper to get some other one that looks pretty similar,
it's history, man.
Yeah.
and to some people, I mean, I'm sure other people are having the same conversation now, but with different elements of the game. Like, fuck it, I don't know. What's something that they can't continue that is on the PlayStation that they can't continue now? Like
pressure sensitive buttons.
Yeah, pressure sensitive buttons, for example. I'm sure people are arguing about whether that constitutes as a requirement to really fully appreciate it as a Metal Gear game, but
they'll probably figure out another control layout to do, because don't they have it on the Xbox one?
They'll just use the Xbox layout, which is a better layout, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fine. That's an evolution as far as I'm concerned. It's okay, cool. This is how we figured it out.
Here, let me give you another example. I know we're trying to move on to controls here, but
I'm not trying to move on controls. I'm just trying, the concept of the discussion of what does this game require to really fulfill our needs as Metal Gear fans? Clearly, our requirements are a little bit different from
Yeah, and I mean, I'll admit I'm a purist, so
that's my whole point. Is everybody's gonna have different requirements of what makes it real Metal Gear. Yeah,
and that's what I'm wondering what your requirements are, because
right.
You've mentioned a bunch of shit that's integral, as far as I know, from a bunch of different.
Okay, at the end of the game when you've got John C. McCone and McNamara just standing there, those are real people, and they're just in the cutscene as characters in a Metal Gear game. Conspiring, what if you had to what if you had to remove them because it was insensitive to their family or whatever, right?
They can get rid of the cure menu as far as I'm concerned. They can replace it with a weapon wheel as far as I'm concerned for the cure menu.
Jesus Christ.
We've talked about this with how Survive did that, and it's actually kind of a smoother gameplay experience instead of going to the pause menu. No, that was something me and Nitrate have agreed on before.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I want them to put it into MGS3.
Don't say that out loud again, because we're gonna lose fans.
I don't give a shit if we lose fans. If people think I like Survive and I like some of the gameplay features in it that are quality of life improvements over Snake Eater, I'm going to continue to say stuff like that.
Yeah, no, man. I would never fucking change my opinion. I'm always going to say what my opinion actually is. I get it, man.
I don't give a shit if people don't like. I was one person out here that liked Survive when it came out. It was just yeah, I'm having a good time. And whatever, I don't care. But the whole point is just I don't care if things kind of switch up or change, I guess. It's just I'm just more open to that with games and stuff. But I can respect where you guys are coming from with wanting those things in there.
I am open. Let me clarify too. I am open to change as long as the change has vision and purpose. If the change is made because we can't get this to where it was consistently with MGS, the original MGS3, and because we're representing this as a product, we don't care, then I'm a little iffy on the change. If it's a result of them trying to evolutionize or respond to, some sort of limitation that they might have had and actually put effort into it, yeah, I'll give it a shot. That being said, now I'm trying to think about how they're going to work the cure menu now, because modern audiences aren't going to like that.
Well, you're hitting on something.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It actually worked really good in Survive. If y'all ever played it, the cure menu and all the inventory shit worked really great, and it was on the fly.
Sure, but the more I think about it in Survive, why even have it? It's basically just one button and you're done. What's the point? It's just another obstacle.
But I remember us talking about that. We were man, imagine the cure menu in this and just be boop, 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 bullet hole.
Sure, but that was sort of my annoyances with the contrivances speaking. And, this is sort of an interesting conversation that's tough to have because... Okay, so, a lot of old games, you're going to have a lot of contrivances, a lot of mechanics that are, dated or difficult or user unfriendly or what have you. And a lot of the times when you see those mechanics and you have a game that's getting a remaster or a remake, you start to think, well, how can we do this better? How can we make it more efficient? How can we make it more fluid, quicker, easier, etc.? Right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that it's not always clear when those mechanics are designed due to limitations or when they're designed that way because that's something the developer wanted to communicate. That's the feel that they were going for, right? And it's difficult to say what's done one way versus the other way. So a good example of this is the debate around the combat in Silent Hill 2. A lot of people have made the argument that the controls and the combat are sort of intentionally bad in that game. And there are good arguments on both sides of this. Regardless of what the truth is, the feel in that game is very distinct and very unique. And when you change that, regardless of what the impetus might have been to make it that way, if you change that, you're going to change the feel of the game. You're going to change the emotion. You're going to change the entire tone. You know, Metal Gear Solid 3, if you start to streamline a lot of these things that were, you know, at one point considered maybe annoying or outdated, you're going to change the feel of the game. You know, MGS3 really, you know, for better or worse, you get very involved in doing these things when you play the game.
Yeah, it's kind of like if Resident Evil 2 Remake got rid of the item box system and just gave you like unlimited inventory slots.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's annoying when your inventory gets all clogged up, but it's like
Bingo.
It's something that the game wants to, you know, force you to make decisions and learn your surroundings and know like where the safe spots are and know you can't just pick up everything, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's,
and they still sort of do that with the ink ribbons.
Yeah, like, you know, if you're playing on hardcore, like you have to make sure you know where an ink ribbon is and have one if you want to save, and like, oh, well, that's an annoyance. I can't save wherever I want, but it's like it creates tension and creates like the horror.
Exactly.
Accents the horror aspects.
So if you were to take Silent Hill 2 and like add in a combo system, right? Like, are you making the game better or worse? Like, I'm not sure what the answer to this is, but you're definitely changing the identity of the game.
I know this isn't what you meant, but I just imagine a weapon combo as in combination system, as in Tears of the Kingdom weapon combination system and Silent Hill 2 Remake. And I'm just like, you know what, James, you fuse that piece of hair with that stick.
Isn't there enough phallic symbolism in that game?
Silent Hill 2 Remake does not need more dick monsters. Okay, I get it.
I genuinely do think that they at least think that they're making something intentionally like in the spirit of Metal Gear Solid 3. Like what they wrote about the small piece of text that they wrote with wanting to, you know, stay faithful to the design and gameplay. Like that's what I want to hear. That's absolutely what I want to hear. And if they're going to talk about improving things, I can certainly give them a list of things that could be improved. The underwhelming Shagohod fight, the egregious length of the bike chase, like the boss camos that are way too powerful that you get way too early in the game. Like there's definitely things that you can improve in Metal Gear Solid 3, to be honest.
That's not what they're going to do, though.
No, I just don't think that they'll see it like that. That would be my prediction.
I mean, they might even get rid of the chase scene, you know, like, or make it automatic all in one cutscene. Like that's like with RE4, that's what's kind of got me worried about, you know, them stripping gameplay segments and whole scenes. Like that's more kind of stuff that I want it to like tread mostly the same ground that the original did. I did see that in the other little memo thing that they put out too, that all the original voice characters, well, not, it doesn't say all, but will star the original voice characters. So that's good. We're going to have.
So they're redoing their lines.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. That worked out so well the last.
Must be a real threat in the muck duck eating contest. You must have been training in the stick pull and 4-man carry.
A fight to the death with you. Only in that can my soul find respite.
A fight to the death with you. Only in that can my soul find respite.
And it says rich storyline and expansive features of combat survival in harsh environments, evolved with unprecedented graphics and immersive sound. Yeah, it's going to be like 3D sound, which should be pretty cool with the jungle scape, you know?
I hope the sound's better because the sound in MGS3 is trash. It's so flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the actual music and stuff is really good.
Yeah, but just your cues of like distance and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's just so flat. It's so.
I mean, shit. I feel like nowadays, like when I play certain like online games and stuff, like multiplayer, like you really get that like 3D sound of someone like running up on you and stuff. So I think they've kind of got that technology all figured out now. That it should be a good attempt at it at least.
It's interesting. I mean, we're talking about things that they could do to sort of reinvent and reimagine parts of MGS3 where you could potentially expand and explore different ideas, but again, we haven't really seen much. We've got to go based on what's available, but looking at the screenshots on the official website, it really doesn't seem like that's what they're doing. The geometry for the levels is basically 1-to-1 with the original. It seems like they're just going to give it a facelift and maybe, improve the controls a bit. Probably something akin to like MGS 3D with the over-the-shoulder aiming, or maybe they'll, gear it more towards MGSV and go that route. But like structurally, it doesn't seem like they're intending to change much.
Yeah, I think maybe just some like gameplay systems itself, but like the scenario, as far as like the maps and where you actually go location to
Right.
location, that
Yeah.
should probably stay the same, but they might. That's what, like I'm really hoping for some different like, either some other like menu system or something, because like I didn't really personally like pausing the game and going into the cure menu and going to the it's just like it kind of breaks the immersion a little bit for me. I don't know.
Yeah, but I look at this stuff sort of like how people look at the the unedited versions of Star Wars.
Sure, yeah, and that's like I get it. That's what I'm saying. I fully get it, but just for me, I'm kind of just more go with the flow on it, I guess.
I want my blemishes.
Yeah,
I would be fucking blown away if they keep the original menu system. There's no way on earth that they.
Oh,
no. There's no way on earth.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's a dated system. We got to really kind of look at that and at
Yeah.
least kind of be like, hey guys, the whole pausing it and breaking it down thing.
You're gonna be able to hot swap your camo and
Yeah,
No, I disagree. I completely love the original menu system, and I think it's so unique and it suits the game so well. But I can't see them recreating it in a satisfying way, so they may as well do something else. I don't think it's that the menus.
I agree.
I mean, it'd be cool to kind of see like real time cure stuff. Like, boom, you got a bullet hole, like hit
Okay.
the thing, and he pulls out the knife and actually like sits there and digs it out, and it takes like a second and a half.
Yeah, okay, now we're talking.
That they did that shit in RDR2.
Okay, this is the kind of thing that you should be doing for a remake if you are to do one. Again, kind of against the whole concept in general, but taking it, exploring it in new places, expanding it, seeing where you can go, what crazy places can we go with this that, you would have never have even thought about back then, right?
Yeah.
Like, those are the kind of things I want to see. Like, back when MGS3 was first announced, there was a lot of speculation about how big the game was going to be, and the implication, a lot of fans had at the time was that this was going to be like this enormous, sprawling, open world jungle, which, obviously didn't happen,
Yeah.
right? Because there was a lot of early talk about being able to take multiple routes and such to get to your objective, and really it ended up being like 1 to 2 different branching paths in the game. It really didn't branch all that much. It's fairly linear, all things considered. It just seems like it's not because you're outside.
Yeah.
And you backtrack a bit, but doing that sort of open world expanded approach would be something interesting, would be something unique that you could really start to do new things with. What if eating and healing, like you were implying, would happen in real time? You've got to do that while you're in the midst of gameplay and there are enemies patrolling.
Yeah.
What if there are night and day schedules and you have to plan out a route and manage your hunger and your thirst? Ramp up the survival aspect a lot more.
Yeah.
There are so many things you could do with a remake that will absolutely not happen. Instead, what they're going to do is they're going to reskin the original game, give it pseudo MGSV controls, and otherwise, leave it mostly as it is, but re-record the voice acting. I mean, I look at this game and the screenshots, and I'm sorry, I know a lot of people think this looks good, but I see higher fidelity, but I don't see style. I see, an Unreal Engine portfolio project. Nothing about this looks like Metal Gear to me.
But technically, but like on a technical level.
Yes, it's very technically impressive, but it's artistically vapid.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You've pretty much said the line that I was waiting for, but yeah, it's.
Yeah, I mean
there's two approaches to it,
They could do so much, but they won't.
I think what you've described there, Nitroid, is the worst option. It's the worst possible option.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I literally dread that, and ever since it was even first hinted at, that was my fear, I guess.
Because it's safe and it's easy, and it's gonna please the most people. And you're right, it's the worst possible option because of not just because it's such wasted potential, but because of what it says, which is that we're going to fix the things that are wrong with MGS3. And those are not the things that are wrong with MGS3. I would argue that coming at it that way isn't even right. And very close to just making a straw man argument here, so I'm going to back off from that. But we had to improve the graphics, we had to improve the gameplay. I'm sorry, but those are two things that I really don't think need fixing. They don't need revisiting. Not unless you're doing a hell of a lot more to really expand on that and take advantage of, the new capabilities you have. Like, this is just squandering it.
I mean, I think if they're gonna go from like The Last of Us and remaster that all the way up to PS5, like damn right they can go back to PS2 and remaster that to bring it up to like modern, models and stuff.
Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with game companies making games to make money. I don't have a problem with this product-oriented mindset. What I have a problem with is when they do it and pretend like it's art.
Well, at least they're not pretending it's art, or are they? Is that your...
I mean, that seems to be sort of the, Sony's modus operandi these days, is products parading as art. I don't know, everything is so samey now. It's just...
I mean, yeah, you can literally start every trailer. The Silent Hill 2 trailer started with bugs. The Resident Evil 2 trailer started with rats.
Dude, it was so... the reason I was able to pick that out, so for anybody who didn't see the stream we did where this reveal was going on, as soon as that ant appeared, I was like, yeah, it's MGS3, because Konami did the same thing with Silent Hill.
Yeah.
But it's not that they did the bug specifically, it's that they copied something else that did well.
Yeah.
Which ironically it was their own thing.
Which copied Resident Evil, though, we would probably say, like, let's
Well, no, I don't think so. PT's trailer,
oh yeah, PT, yeah.
Or intro or whatever you want to call it. The Silent Hill 2 trailer copied PT, basically, almost shot for shot. And then essentially the MGS3 trailer copied Resident Evil 2's reveal trailer, albeit in a different setting, but it more or less did the same shtick.
Yeah.
And I've seen some people online going, wow, that trailer was so Kojima-like, and I wanted to just stick my finger down my throat.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it was Kojima-like at all, but I think it, it did the whole, like, we're going to keep the reveal here at the end thing and show you
exactly.
a bunch of stuff. And
because it's about the reveal and the reaction. Yeah. That way you get YouTube video, like, blah, blah. Yeah. I know I'm being cynical, but that's...
I saw the article that was talking about, like, and the ants represented the phone call with paramedic when she was talking about
complete accident. It was a complete fucking accident, complete coincidence. There's no fucking way on this earth.
There are people like if you've seen the Shago hide off in the distance, like when the parrot was flying away, that was a cool touch. I don't know. There's some cool nods in the trailer to kind of let you know, like real fans kind of definitely knew from once things started getting rolling before Snake popped out, but.
Do you know the whole time when it was like you know Snake is coming, like you've seen this trailer so many times, they're about to pan to Snake, and I was thinking he's gonna look like shit, and then they showed him and I was like, whoa, he looks good. I was so surprised.
I was all smiles when I saw him. I was just like, all right, that's a ton better than the Patchy slot. Holy shit. Like,
It is, but I don't think he looks like Snake. I think he looks like that one like Metal Gear Solid 2 and Unreal Engine version of Snake. Like where he's bordering on supermodel. Just a little gruffer.
I mean, come on, he definitely looks like Snake. We all knew who he was, so.
I mean, a bandana and some, facial lines and, and a beard do not a Snake make. I mean, I don't know. It rubs me the same way as like the Smash Ultimate version of Snake does, where like, yeah, you've got.
Oh no, he's way better than Smash Ultimate.
It is
like,
better. I'm not saying it's not better. It is better, but it just the face, it doesn't look like him to me.
I don't know.
It just looks like some guy.
That looks like Big Boss to me. I think you said it earlier, and you said this looks like somebody photoshopped Venom's face.
Yeah.
And I think that's why like I can kind of accept it because it's looking like Venom, and that's good. Like that they look alike. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
That's kind of the whole thing that they were trying to do there with the doppelganger. But I don't know. I think he looks great.
I've never been so fright-sighted in my entire life. Because it's like, we don't know what they're going to do, but it's like, it's terrifying prospect if they'll do as Nitroid described it. But it's like, what if they don't? What if they make a really good fucking game?
I would love to picture some like just up and coming rising game designer who loved MGS3 and had always had these interesting concepts or visions for it and wanted to try to interpret it in a new way. And it's very possible it's more than likely, some marketing team that did the math and determined that the cost of remaking this would give us a nice return for a nice remake product or whatever. But it could go. It could be the young inquisitive game designer. Who knows? It could be either one.
If that happens and it's good, I'll be the first to say so.
Yeah, I'll be happy. I just, I can't say either way right now, other than what I know. And what I do know is that they might be getting lazy with the historical clips.
I'm pre-ordering day one. I don't give a shit. We are all going to be buying
I think we
this
all
game.
are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We
At the end of the
wanna
day.
I'm contractually obligated.
It's like the other thing to consider is decisions that are being made on the port are an indicator of the decisions that will be made on the remake, but it might not necessarily be the case now that I think about it. It's probably two different schools of thought and two different teams.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Their hands are probably more so tied with the collection, and they probably have, just all the creative room in the world to, make stuff happen with the remake. So yeah, I agree. Just two different trains of thoughts on that. Yeah, we get to hear David Hayter again. That should be good.
Yeah.
And I've heard some people say, oh, they re-recorded the voice lines for Twin Snakes and it sucked. It's like, they're not going to make the same mistake again and not have like a voice director and stuff. It's going to sound fucking great.
That's what you think.
That was my other hope, is that they don't make David Hayter pay like half his paycheck to get the cast back again.
I guess we'll find out. At this point, it's mostly going to be the exact same voice recording team, but I don't know. I mean, like here,
I don't think they'll touch the story in any way. I think beat for beat it'll be exactly the same. I don't think it'll be any. I can't see them even daring to touch it.
Volgan comes back. He's just like, this time it'll be different. And we're like, oh fuck.
Oh god.
We can do this. We can. We can change it. Make it right.
Do you think they'll reuse the cutscene animation data, kind of like the Patchy slot seems to have done?
I don't know.
Like, how far are they going with this?
It seems like more work to transpose that old data into this new thing than to just...
Yeah, it seems like there's more like articulation points these days. That's like taking like an old figure and just, I don't know, jamming it into this new thing when you've got so much more control now.
It's going to be a lot of interesting comparisons.
I want to be wrong about every prediction I make. I'm saying things and how I think it'll be, and I just want to be wrong. I don't think I will be, but God, it'd be so cool.
I'm glad. I will say, I have something nice to say. I'm glad that the rumor was false and that they didn't call it subsequent.
Yeah, what the fuck was that shit?
Jesus.
Yeah.
bad.
Now it's
That's what that
triangle.
was.
Just kidding.
And we
Now
got,
it's the Metal Gear
Delta.
Solid triangle.
yeah.
Yeah. I know it's Delta, but
What do you think of the first conspiracy theory? We're early, so we got our early first conspiracy theory out, and everyone's out analyzing every single frame of the trailer, and I've even seen people drawing triangles on top of Venom Snake, and all the conspiracy theories are already.
It's an
coming out.
upside down V. Oh, Silent Hill's confirmed.
Yeah. The first conspiracy theory is they're calling it Delta because they're going to remake Metal Gear 1 and 2 as Alpha, Metal Gear Solid as, I don't know the fucking Greek alphabet. I think it's Beta, and then I don't know the one after, but...
Gamma.
See, I'd have never guessed that.
Yeah, Alpha,
anyway,
Beta,
but
Gamma, Delta.
So yeah, that's the conspiracy theory, that they'll remake Metal Gear 1 and 2 as one game, Metal Gear Solid, and then Metal Gear Solid 2, and then obviously 3 as Delta.
Which anybody who says that has absolutely zero understanding of the Greek alphabet, because Delta is the 4th letter.
That's what I'm saying, because MGS3 was the 4th game.
What?
Wait, what?
So you combine Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Oh, you can't be
Is Alpha.
combining.
You can't do that. That's cheating. That's stupid.
No, but
That's
Okay.
the going conspiracy theory. I've seen it multiple times.
Okay, well,
I get what you're saying.
I do wonder what they are going to change. I mean, obviously they're going to do something, but I doubt they're going to Final Fantasy VII remake this thing.
No, I was joking. Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some tongue-in-cheek sort of references. If not, I will be shocked, but maybe not that shocked. God, I don't know, man. This whole thing's kind of surreal, you know?
Do you think we'll know who Eva's voice actor is by the end of this now, with her having to come back into the booth?
I would love it if they would just use the same pseudonym. I think that would be the best. It would be funny if it just had her name just right there.
Boom.
Just didn't even make a big deal out of it. It was just
Yeah.
like bam. Gosh, there sure are a lot of rumors surrounding the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Who'd have thunk it?
We'll say, for anybody out here just like gloating about like, I was right. You predicted 20 events earlier that were wrong and said it was going to be at those events. And so you can't just be out here saying like, remake's coming. And then when it finally comes, be like, yeah, called it. Because that's a very easy bet to make.
That was a very nice response. I would not have been that nice.
Yeah. Hey, yo,
yeah, okay.
yeah, but like it's like we've been saying the same shit too. It's just like, no, it's not going to be at E3 before E3 got canceled. Like you're calling every possible thing.
No.
So yeah, don't.
I have been getting shit on Twitter already, and I've just been ignoring it and muting accounts. So God knows how much. I know one guy tweeted at me like 8 or 9 times in different threads to be like, Nitro got it wrong. Like, no, dude.
Whoever said you got it wrong hasn't been listening to what you've been saying.
No,
like that's,
exactly.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
bullshit.
I have been consistent in what I've said this whole time, and I will say it again because for some reason people want to hear what they want to hear rather than what I'm actually saying, which is that I never doubted that Metal Gear would get a remake at some point.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was inevitable. That's just how the game industry is nowadays. What I had been saying is that a lot of game journalists and sort of personalities online and YouTube and Twitter will talk about this stuff, and they will promote these rumors that often contradict one another. They'll promote one thing one day, a month later they'll promote another thing that's in complete contradiction to the thing they said before. And fast forward a year or two, and now you've got 10 different stories that are all conflicting with one another. And they keep sort of trying to course correct to eventually hit the bullseye when it lands. And then they sort of like, it's just like needling in closer and closer and closer until finally it happens and they go, see, I knew all along. And my point was that, hey, don't believe rumors, because these guys are sensationalists who take advantage of the fact that people get excited about stuff that they like.
Yeah.
But they don't actually know anything. They hear rumors that they think are true, and they report on whatever they think is going to get them the most, publicity and the least amount of flack. There are no consequences for it.
the person that he talked to was probably under some type of NDA.
Here's the thing. In the case of Andy Robinson, I was specifically pointing out that I had a specific concern. I had a specific gripe with VGC and Andy Robinson, and it was that VGC promotes a lot of crap.
Yeah.
They publish a lot of rumors. And when I pointed this out, Andy got real insecure real fast and just went on this snobbish rant and eventually blocked me. Because I had the gall to point out that, hey, if your outlet that you are editor-in-chief of posts a rumor from somebody else, you are promoting that rumor. That is on you as much as it's on them. You don't get to say, well, it's not our rumor, we're just reporting what we heard. Like, that's called shitty reporting, dumbass.
Yeah, it's not vetting any of your information.
Stop acting like you're a fucking professional.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you do. Now, I'm sorry, I clearly didn't go to media literacy school like he loved to insult me with, which was just, God, this fucking guy. He's such a snob.
Yeah.
He really is. Basically said, you have no media literacy and some other dumb shit thing that it was just really condescending. But the point is, like, you are the captain of this ship, and if you're running into rocks, that's as much on the guy at the wheel as it is on you. Because you're the fucking captain. And you guys promoted a lot of bullshit alongside, one or two things that did end up coming true. Which means you're not vetting your shit.
Yeah, they do the standard reporting of stuff of, things that roll out and like, yeah, it's easy to kind of see what's going on in the day and like make a copy paste article about whatever's happening. And yeah, sure. That's like, they do that too. Good job. But
you're I said this to him. I said, no, you're attaching your name to this report, which means you are vouching for it.
Yeah.
Albeit maybe indirectly, but you are still doing it because you are reporting on it. You are not obligated to report on that, which means if you don't think it's real and you're not taking responsibility for it, you are admitting that you are doing it because you are banking on the sensationalism of it.
Yeah.
Which means that you're doing shitty work. Sorry, there's no other way to cut it here. And I pointed this out to him, albeit with fewer words, and his response was, I'm bored now, bye, and he blocked me.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, dude. Like, the kind of people online, like, MBG or I can't remember some of the other names, he's just the first one that comes to mind, who just spew out whatever nonsense and are just very obviously charlatans, right? Like, they live in the hype machine, They spew out whatever thing they hear. Doesn't matter what it is. They just regurgitate anything they hear any day of the week, right? Like those guys don't bother me as much. It's annoying because typically they have huge audiences and then that information gets spread and it's annoying. But it's less egregious to me because it's a blunt instrument.
It's like when you see the tabloid at the grocery store, you're like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah,
I
it's
see
the equivalent
I'm
of
not
that.
really going to acknowledge you, but you keep doing. Hey, you make your money off these weirdos that believe in you.
Yeah, it's Bat Boy.
Like, yeah.
Right. It's like seeing Bat Boy on the fucking, tabloid. Like, that doesn't bother me as much. What bothers me is when you have somebody who, is essentially publishing complete nonsense in the New York Times, right? Like, the guy who pretends to be virtuous, pardon the pun, but isn't. And will make excuses when you call him out on it.
Well, it scales too, because like you said, it starts out with like some fucking podcast talking about a rumor or something. Then VGC reports on that little podcast that doesn't have much credibility. But then IGN reports on that VGC thing, and then
it's a game of telephone, man.
That's what. It amplifies it, and it just gets out of control. So
yeah, I mean, we've seen it ourselves, and I won't get into specifics, but there are examples of stories coming from, who you would think are reputable sources, but those reputable sources didn't get it themselves from the horse's mouth. They got it because they heard a rumor.
Yeah.
The same rumor that you heard from some dipshit on Twitter. It just works its way around, eventually gets to this bigger person. The bigger person regurgitates it, And now suddenly it has credibility. And that has happened over and over and over again.
Yeah, some of our earliest episodes are talking about it.
And like, I see these articles on like Forbes talking about how less than half of Americans trust journalists and think that journalists are actively trying to deceive them. And I'm like, all I can think of is that fucking dude in the hot dog outfit going like, you know, we're all trying to find the guy who did this. Like, why do you fucking think it happened? Nobody trusts you guys, and it's because you act like this. Stop it. God. I'm done.
I think we're making good points about just like, you know, bringing in and vetting like the things that you report on and not just spreading shit for profit. That sucks.
I just think, as a final thing, like if you had not heard from them the entire time, any of these journalists that have been saying it's going to be at every show for the like 3 years now or something, and it's going to be a Metal Gear Solid remake, and it's going to be a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and they're going to port the games, and they're going to make
Kojima's
new
back and
ports,
working
they're
on
gonna
PT
make
again.
remasters,
Yeah.
and they're going to do Castlevania, and they're going to do fucking everything that they said. If you had just ignored that and not heard any of it and waited for the official source, you'd still be in the exact same position that you are now with the same amount of information.
Yeah.
And those guys would probably have jobs that actually contribute to society.
It's a hype machine. It's this thing that's just there in motion. It's like a perpetual PMC, but of hype instead of war, you know? PHCs, private hype corporations.
You know what it's like? It's like the game journalism equivalent of cold reading, you know? Which is what like psychics, you know, fortune tellers do.
Yeah.
They do cold reading where they make these generalized statements that are sort of broadly true and likely to be true.
Sure, horoscopes,
and then
yeah.
act like they're reading, they act like they're reading minds. They can see the future. And a lot of these guys will do that. A lot of these sort of, hype miners, let's say.
Somebody made a point recently, like, can we trade ray tracing for like cooler shit? Like devs like spend more time like doing cooler shit versus ray tracing, because like I really don't care, and it just taxes every system that it's on to a ridiculous amount, and I'd rather make dick robots. So it's fun.
I have had more fun with Tears of the Kingdom than just about any game in the past 5 years.
It's really been like the most like video game I've played in a while, and it's been one of those games where I'll play it until my controller dies, and then I'll switch it over into portable mode and just keep playing.
Yeah, Nintendo has made some magic here. They really have.
Yeah, and it's definitely got that. Like, I haven't felt like this way since like I've played like Oblivion. Like where I've got like multiple tabs open on online with like multiple maps and shit, and I'm like, all right, gotta get this shrine and clear this whole section out, and like
it's just fun. It's just fun.
It's a good time, and I'm like not getting bored of, and it's so open to. Have you done that? Have you upgraded your little Sheikah thing to where you can see like your path that you've walked so far?
No, not yet. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I figured that would be in the game since it was in the DLC for Breath of the Wild. But
yeah, it's really fun to just watch that, and like you see like every time that you've died too, and there'll be like certain sections where it's just like over and over like. Bow, bow, bow.
I've seen this stuff where you die where it's like rip on the map. Like that's hilarious.
I was saying I've definitely I haven't gotten the Sheikah, but I've definitely gotten the rip, where it shows where you've eaten shit on the map.
Yeah, I love that.
That's what I mean. Yeah, not the sheet, but like the little slate thing that you have or whatever. Yeah, it shows you where you've been. Oh, the Puripad. That's what it's called in this game.
If you ever needed like a better piece of evidence for the fact that at the end of the day the graphics aren't really what matter.
Yeah.
Like this is it.
Exactly. Yeah. And the whole 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second argument goes out the window.
Right. It performs like shit. It's low resolution and it's like the best game in almost a decade.
Someone said they were like, you got this game that's developed on a 6-year-old cell phone out here beating everybody's ass when everybody else is focused on slightly shinier objects, and it's just like, yeah, man, this is why we're here, like fun shit.
Well, you know what this means, right?
It
means we need to remake Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
With better graphics.
I mean, that's, it would be nice having it run a little more efficiently. I'm not going to say,
Sure.
as someone that like grew up with like kind of shoddy computers most of his life, like I was kind of always cool with having shit running on like medium settings, and then like when it bogged down, I was just like, haha, it's thinking. But like it just didn't really bother me. So like I don't know, like I'm okay with like frames dipping and I don't know. It's part of gaming for me.
It sort of reminds me of back when Wind Waker came out and everybody was angry because it wasn't hyper realistic like that.
Yeah.
I think it was a Space World trailer was what it showed, where it was like Ocarina of Time, but like yeah. You remember what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, where it shows him and Ganondorf battling in the castle, and the next footage you see from the same like production is cell shaded Link, and everybody got pissed.
Yeah.
Yep. And now, fast forward, we got Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and what's the one everybody remembers?
Yep. Minish Cap.
There's a lesson here.
What?
Minish Cap.
That was for Apache.
Phantom whatever. What's it?
Hourglass?
Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass. Yeah, I always get those two mixed up. Phantom Hourglass.
Those are all good games. Like, I mean, yeah, Zelda's been consistent, but Tears of the Kingdom is definitely a step forward in game design and physics and just all the like. It's great when you build stuff right and it all works and you're like, wow, but it's also really impressive like how badly things could go wrong if you've just got a wheel off position a little bit or you've got like your fans turned around in the wrong way.
Yep.
Like,
and it's hilarious.
Shit fucks up in a great way too. Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah, I just it's an endless amount of fun and there's something entertaining like every 10 steps. I mean, I've been spending a lot of time just like putting minecarts on my shield and skating around like an idiot.
Yeah, it's fun.
I do like what Parametric said. I believe they called it I can't believe it's not Gary's mod.
Yeah.
Which is the perfect description because it did give me Gary's mod vibes.
Oh yeah.
And it also gives me like immersive sim vibes in a sense that like I'm not saying that Tears of the Kingdom is like the spiritual successor to Deus Ex or shit like that. But there's so many different ways you can approach the problem. It's sad because like I'm a big overthinker. A lot of times in video games, I'll overthink a puzzle and then realize that I should have just looked like 3 steps back. And in this game, you can overthink and the physics engine will just work with your overthinking and you might find a resolution.
Exactly,
and then you'll look it up and you're like, oh, it was that simple. Fuck me.
Yeah, I never solved the problem right.
But to that sense, it really does feel like it's evolved into this like immersive sim where you can find different ways to solve your problems, different creative ways.
One thing I saw recently too was like, the game's been ready for, since like last year sometime, and they've just spent this whole last year just polishing that physics system, and it's like, man, you really got to appreciate that. Like them,
it shows
making sure, because like I haven't had anything really glitch out or like fuck up yet, but any like contraption that I've made that's gone haywire has been me going like, oh yeah, I had the fans face the wrong way. Fuck, like, it's just it's my fault pretty much. But the systems are all there and they're consistent and they work great.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, it's your fault.
Yeah.
And to that point, I do appreciate how they sort of they didn't try to like reinvent the wheel, which kind of a pun there, but they didn't try to, reinvent the concept or the concepts that they had in Breath of the Wild. They just iterated on what they had based off of what they saw others like the end users do, which in this case was crazy shit with like the magnet tool in Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
They expanded upon that. We got multiple layers of Hyrule now. So it wasn't just, I hope it opens developers and designers to iterate on what they already have and expand upon that rather than trying to like start fresh with a sequel.
Yeah, because you could see some of those physics, like experiments kind of happening with some of the equipment in the first game. But yeah, in this now, it's like, okay, this is, Breath of the Wild definitely walked so this could run.
God, where do you go from here? Like what is the next step after this? It's almost like you'd have to just reimagine Zelda again. Like this is as good as it gets almost,
I would love more. Like I'm only, I've played a bunch of the game. I've only cleared 2 of the main, 4 dungeon things that you're presented with. So like the dungeon design, while it's been okay, I do kind of miss the more like detailed dungeon design.
Yeah,
So
I do
don't know,
agree.
maybe a return to that. Like it is better in this one. Like I said, I haven't done 2 of the other ones too, so they might be great. But I did the wind and the fire, and they were okay.
Yeah,
I thought in Breath of the Wild they were kind of lacking too. Like it was like these are fine, but you go back to like the classic dungeons, it's like you're spending a while in there trying to figure that shit out, and you need a map, and these are just a lot more
Yeah.
like condensed versions of dungeons, which I'm like, I guess.
It's gonna sound weird, but it's almost like this whole game is a dungeon.
Mm.
I don't know. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, you're constantly putting pieces together and being like you'll see something off in the distance, like what the fuck is that? Like that doesn't make any sense, or just like what was that? Why can't I read this thing? Oh, later you get a quest and it's like, okay, now you go
Yeah.
back and you got to scan them with your camera. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's hard to take it all in in a short period of time for sure. It's like you're learning this whole world that they've got set up for you. It reminds me of like the Phantom Pain, like when I first played that. I don't know, like it was just this like open world where you're trying to figure out all these different gameplay systems and mechanics, and like, okay, I can do this, but I can't do that.
Right. Like, what can I do? How can
Yeah.
I? Yeah.
You're really like constantly testing the boundaries of the system and seeing what you can get away with.
See, and that's the sort of thing where I think Metal Gear could benefit
Hmm.
from borrowing a little bit from other games. That experimentation in the Phantom Pain was great. It just didn't go very far. God, like it's just funny to see an MGS3 remake take what seems like, and again, we don't have a lot of information yet, but it seems like it's taking steps backwards from MGSV, and that's kind of funny when you think about it. Because everybody who's talked about an MGS3 remake has basically said the same thing, which is like, hey, take MGSV's engine and make MGS3 out of it, right?
Hmm.
And God, there's just so much you could do,
I mean, I keep saying it, but like I think it's going to be more like Survives, like how they
Probably.
handled the UI and just like the ease of availability of items and just operations and stuff. Like it's there in the quick menu. Like I don't know. I thought that worked really well in the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be interesting to see them do that, and like, I just don't want to see them do that with the, I don't want to see them make changes to the old stuff.
Hmm.
I wonder if this is Unreal Engine or not. Like, I would assume it is.
It's got that classic Unreal Engine look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any other developers' names attached to this. This does appear to be like in-house so far that we've seen.
Well, if we're gonna take the rumors at face value, it's supposed to be this studio.
It's the Chinese studio.
Yeah, Virtuous, and we'll see if that pans out. But I don't know. I get the feeling this is not in house, but that's just my gut speaking. But it's anybody who says this, anybody who thinks this, I'm just gonna break it to you now. It's not the Fox engine.
Oh no,
Fox
no,
engine
yeah,
has
definitely.
not been relevant for about a decade.
Yeah.
It's old code. It's not gonna work for what you want it. It doesn't do what you want it to do.
Yeah, and like I get the sentiment. They're just like, hey, what about that fluid gameplay that we got in the Fox engine? That's what
Yeah.
people mean when they say like, wouldn't it be
Exactly,
cool? Like
yeah.
they want that. They want to be able to quick dive. That's all they really mean. It's just quick
Yep.
dive.
And you don't need the Fox engine to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I always compare it to The Last of Us, like or The Last of Us 2, like whatever they were doing in that engine. It's like, yeah, just that's kind of like what I consider like an evolution of the Fox engine. You can do pretty much all the same shit. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it. I'll probably be pretty happy with it. But go like, all right, now it's time to go back and play the original Snake Eater and load that up on my PS3 and just enjoy that.
Yo, if it's out on Steam, the original MGS3 port is out on Steam, I will be racing everyone on planet Earth to get the Foxhound achievement. So good luck out there with everyone.
Yeah.
Good luck, everybody.
It's a race for second place because Apache already got first.
It's so funny. Like I used to think about like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if that happened? Like when there was Steam achievements and like I don't know, a bunch of people just all playing MGS3 again. That'd be so cool. Now it's like actually happening. I don't think it's set in yet. I don't think I fully realized that it's actually happening now, and it's so exciting. And the remake just feels like a huge curveball and it's almost like overpowering news. How many times have we talked about wanting ports of these games to modern consoles and especially PC? Like, we've been talking about this for so long. It's actually happening.
I just don't know if they're actually going to put it on PC.
What the collection?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I hope so, but I don't know. I'm just I'm doubtful.
I don't see why they wouldn't really at this point. With the remake being like Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, like they should just go ahead with that. I don't know. Unless I did see something about PlayStation like doing timed exclusives for a bit too with a lot of stuff, so like it might be that situation. But
I want to be reassured. I want to be wrong.
I don't know. Got a PS5 just in time. Now they're gonna start selling out.
Yeah, I will say it's very funny that amidst all of this news, Kojima has not said a damn thing, but he's the one that's trending.
Yeah, he's like food.
He tweeted a Sprite can, and then he tweeted himself doing some mocap stuff with children.
He said lunch.
We can shift to that really quick. I mean, he has been doing a ton of Death Stranding 2 promotion and just showing behind the scenes shots of them doing mocap. And, you know, it was kind of up in the air of like whether or not we would see another DS2 trailer today. But, you know, it's a little soon from the last one that we got. But
yeah,
it looks like they're working on another one for sure. We should be seeing shit. What's the next game event? Tokyo Game Show or some shit. I don't even know.
Or one of Jeff's things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Summer Game Fest. Oh god, yeah, Summer Game Fest. That'll be it. We'll see a trailer there. Rumor.
Yeah. As of 50 minutes ago, I mean, he was in a motion capture session, so I mean, I'm sure he's seen this already. But you know, he's doing his own thing. Which I'm sure there's going to be.
Oh yeah, I mean he's fully aware.
I feel like the message was clear with the Death Stranding director's cut trailer, and you know the box fucking handled with love, fragile.
Mm-hmm.
I think the message was very clear. You know, do something with it, but don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the message was clear. I'm secretly working on 8 Metal Gear projects, and they're all and each of those is secretly PT.
Imagine the small scale of like us getting DMs and stuff today. Like, bro, did you see they're making Metal Gear? Like, imagine Hideo Kojima's inbox right now. Like, bro, they're making Metal Gear. Like, his whole, like, I bet he turned his phone off today.
I had someone in my family message me, and they were like, "Have you seen this?" I was like, "Are you joking?" It was like, an hour and a half later. I was like, "Are you joking?" Like,
yeah, dude.
People DMing me like, "Oh my god, check this out!" Like, come on now.
I feel like Ron Swanson in the tool store being like, I know more than you.
Yeah.
I mean, all that said, I mean, guaranteed Kojima has known what was up for a while.
Oh yeah.
There's no way he wasn't tuned into what this was. So
I mean, I'm sure he listened to the episode a few episodes back when Jim Piddock, just leaked it all, and from there he kind of knew what's up.
It's like, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Me Frequency, for informing me on
Me
my
Frequency.
work.
Me Frequency.
Shout out, Jim. That was probably not intentional, but yeah.
I know. Yeah, we got direct confirmation basically, and nobody cared. It was all.
I don't think anybody really noticed. Like,
no.
I
had a few people message me over the week,
I had a few folks.
And then someone tweeted at me today, and they were like, "Oh well, Jim Piddock in episode said this," so, and I was like, "Oh man, that's so cool."
That's so funny that all happened today, pretty much too. Like, yeah, I've been kind of waiting. I'm like, nobody fucking noticed or was gonna say anything about that, and then boom, today. Yep.
Similar note. This is sort of getting glossed over by a lot of the news, but the Metal Gear Solid board game is uncanceled now.
All right. That's good news.
Good, because I really want that. Like, I really fucking want that. I
want to play that too.
I know you've got everything. We know you want it, Nitroid. Come on now, you've got literally everything. But I never buy stuff. I never ever buy like stuff. I just really want this board game.
We're gonna have to do it like virtually. Like, there's no way like there's ever gonna be enough like players in the same room that one, like Metal Gear, two will sit around to like learn board game rules.
Yeah.
And three, this is just gonna be a game that just gets shown up on a Discord call on a camera.
What's that thing on Steam called? The tabletop game.
Oh yeah, Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, that. Like, you can remake games in that, can't you?
It'll be.
Yeah, we're doing that.
In that. Yeah. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we're totally doing that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's gonna have to be a virtual thing.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
I'll buy it and I'll figure out how to reproduce it. And what's funny is if it lets you port in models, we could probably pull in the models from MGS1 to do it.
Yeah, it's cool. The board game does come with a little Metal Gear Rex, so
yeah, it looks
that's
like
neat.
they've overhauled it a bit. The art's different. A lot of stuff looks different. They're calling it Integral Edition, which is kind of funny. Well, yeah, they are. They're calling it that. So
something like I don't think we have really talked about is and if we have, I'm sorry because I can zone out like so easily. Volume 2 of the collection.
Yeah.
What's it gonna be?
I said earlier, like some people were saying like that they like that it got leaked or whatever, but they were trying to say that it was Peace Walker, Portable Ops, and Rising. But I don't know.
Can I see a link to that? Where did you see that? I can sniff that out.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, I've been sent it a few times, but like that would be extremely disappointing. And you know what? The fact that they're doing like a volume 2 and you have to wait to find out kind of makes me lean towards that might be right. It's just from like a leaker. I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah, and I mean, like if you look at volume 1, I mean, it's what 6-7 games total. Like, what's the full breakdown on that? What is it?
I need Ghost Babel and Acid 1 and 2 in a collection.
That's what I'm saying. Like for this, it could be like the mobile shit. Get the Acid and the Ghost Babel and the Poops and the Peace Walker. Yeah, that's
the Poops.
It's all the handheld shit plus Rising, and plus MGS 4 and 5, plus Metal Gear Touch, plus Snake's Revenge, Metal Gear NES. No, now I'm getting greedy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the meaning of Delta. It doesn't matter if the Metal Gear account like just straight up explains it. People are gonna make up their own story here.
Quiet as Chico.
Which we're commenting on things we're reading, so nobody knows what we're talking about.
Change the amount without changing the structure. I mean, either like they're very brave or they're very naive, and I don't know which one it is. But like,
what?
When they say stuff like, it means to change the amount without changing the structure, it's like, do you really know what changing the structure is? Like,
I think Konami doesn't understand what Kojima's secret sauce was.
Maybe we'll get Mary Gear Solid Secret Santa. Maybe they'll put that on there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think Brandy's right. If they're not going to port MGS4, there's literally no point in calling it a master collection. It's not a master collection at all. Yeah, I'm apprehensive, but like I'm just way more optimistic than I thought I'd be. I think I'm just so happy that ports are actually happening that like nothing can bring me down. And
like you said, yeah, it's like it's a whole new wave of people that are going to be enjoying and experiencing these games, and like we love that, it's always a good time.
We have seen so many people like play Metal Gear Solid 1 recently and fall hard for it, like in the year 2022, 2023, like it'll happen again, and it'll happen to more people because I do think those games hold up.
They do, yeah. I mean, even today, it still has pull. I will say Konami's given us something, very special here with the title, MGSD, because now we can bait people into saying, MGSD's nuts. And that's priceless.
I don't think I'll ever not call it Metal Gear Solid Triangle.
Put it on a shirt where it's MGS.
Metal Gear D model's gonna appreciate that joke.
Oh man,
it's 6 games on the volume 1. Like if you count like VR missions and.
I don't know why they don't just like. Integral is so close to being a localized game already. I don't know why they don't just, do that.
Man, it'd be really cool if they did like the whole digital Eclipse thing and gave us the Japanese version, the English version, just like fucking hit a button and switch up the different region and play the PAL version, like, just all the different things.
That won't happen.
That'd be great.
That's not.
Oh, I know. I'm just, y'all talking about like high standards and like what all can they do? It's like digital Eclipse, what they did.
That is the eternal struggle with Metal Gear fans is extremely high standards from the fans and moderate to low standards from the company.
I think there's just a lot of varying wants and needs and ideas of what it should be.
Yeah, Yeah.
And even today, I've just seen it conflict all over the place. It's been, I've never been part of the online fandom and discourse for basically anything Konami has ever done. Like I've been a silent watcher of it, I guess.
As things are actually like coming out, like when they're active.
Yeah.
What you're saying? Like, yeah.
So it's very, I guess, fun. Fun would be the best way to describe it. Today's been really fun.
That's how I know you're new.
And that's, like I mean, I was in the community like when the Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes were released, and like that was a fucking awesome time. And I think I'm kind of feeling some of that again. It's just like, here we go. Like, I don't know, just like whatever's in store now, like even if Kojima's not involved, like, I don't know, I'm still hype. And like I've seen today, like from just posting it, on the Solid Snake page today, it's been a myriad of different responses and people saying like, oh, fuck that, we don't need a remake, or like, yes, this is my favorite, I'm so high. Just like the spectrum of responses has been all over. And so, I mean, think whatever you want to think about this.
Meanwhile, I'm like Rose in Titanic going, it's been 84 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, think what you want about the remake, but, it's happening, and hopefully it's good.
Yeah, that would be so cool if it was just like super good game. That'd be amazing. Like,
yeah, that would be.
If they could RE2 that shit, oh my god.
I mean, we've all talked about before. It's like, look, man, there's some of that old team still at Konami, and there's still some of that old blood running through some of those teams. And if they're actually allowed to like flex a little bit, and maybe these guys, this is speculation, maybe these guys have like been working on this game the whole time while they've been outsourcing some of their other projects to other companies, and like the in-house team has just been focusing on Snake Eater and fixing this collection and shit. So I mean, we didn't see Blue Point or any other company attached to it on any of the promotional stuff, so maybe that'll come in the future. But I don't know. I'm willing to like kind of give it another shot. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's Konami, they're going to fuck it up, they're so cash grabby. That's like that's the number one thing I've seen today, is just like, oh, but their previous things. It's like, man, people can switch things around. Like everybody was pissed off at Capcom for a while, and like look at them now. Like, so just, I don't know. Let's go into this with a open heart.
Let it go, my son.
I would love to, but this has taught me one thing, if anything, and that's this. If that old adage, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. If I lived by that, I would probably never speak.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's maybe I'm just old. I don't know.
I thought those ants looked really good. I thought the foliage looked good. The that whole like tree frog thing. That was like one of those poison frogs too, by the way. I thought that was a good little nod to the fear.
I just feel
is it a nod when it's the source material?
I don't know. The crocodile hat will probably look pretty good based on the crocodile that we saw in the gavial that we saw in the.
No, it's like, look, last week we were constantly dealing with fucking different rumors day in, day out. Will this happen at the next event? Will this happen at the next event? And trust me, I know, guys. Check out my stream. And like, it's all over now. It's an official announcement. Like,
yeah, it does feel like a big release. Yeah, I'm like, all right, cool, we got something. There we go.
What's happening? They're remaking the game. Fuck it. They haven't done that before. Let them have a crack at it. And they haven't done that without Kojima involved. The staff will have changed a lot. In the last 5 years, certainly different minds in different places. Who fucking knows what's going to happen? I would rather be optimistic about this. I would rather give it a chance to fail, and even if it does, I still got the fucking ports. I still got the ports, and that's all I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they cancel the ports and say we're not making the ports anymore, I still have the games that I love and I play them all the time. So you know what?
Yeah. That's been my whole position. Is like, look, it might be different and they might change shit, but like, I'm just kind of excited for new Metal Gear, y'all. Like, I haven't spoken that phrase like new Metal Gear in a long time, and the last time I did, people threw rocks at me. So it was what survived. But
it might be really bad, and if it's really bad, it'll give me a bunch of new material to make fun of. So, I feel damn optimistic about this.
Oh, if it's bad, they'll never hear the end of it from us.
I'm calling it. It's official. We're so back.
We're back, baby.
It's hard for me to care. You know, the things that
Just do like me. Just enjoy the ride for now. Just
That's like I can sit here and like be negative about the nitpicky stuff and be like, yeah, this isn't there, that isn't there. I'm just like, fuck it, man. New video game to play for like a week, and then I'll put it on the shelf again. You know, it's whatever.
Take the bad news as bad. Take the good news as good. But just we have. I mean, not everybody has Metal Gear Solid 3, which is shitty, but they're bringing it back. Just appreciate what we originally have, and just. I'm going to enjoy the ride regardless of if it's shitty or if it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. It's just that everything I liked about Metal Gear and everything I liked about Kojima are either gone or completely stripped mine of value.
I get that, man. Like, and it's. I mean, playing that Resident Evil 4 remake was kind of sitting there. I was like, man, this is. It's sure it's fine, but like this isn't wild. Like I miss Resident Evil 2. Like this is different. This is some fucking weird action game. Like
you can't even legally play Resident Evil 2 like the original.
I mean, that's a huge issue, having shit available for people to buy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking now.
But I guess I'm just saying, like, the whole, like, remake thing, like, I don't know. I played RE4 Remake and was like, all right, that's fine, I guess. Dead Space Remake, I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, but, like, my first time through with those games, I remember having a lot more fun. And, like, I don't know if it was a big part of the formula that they switched up and changed on me. And, you know, or I'm just, like, older or that I just had already been through it before. But, like, I haven't thought about Resident Evil 4, like, since I played through it, you know? And I'm just like, that was just, like, another rental for me. I miss my QTEs.